Hello everyone, my name is Artemis Black and this is the Penguin Academy Intro to Blackbox Trophy. Now I'll be honest with you, most of you probably have no clue what I'm talking about right here. So the first thing you need to do is go and watch the intro to Fumbbl video, because Blackbox Trophy is a competitive environment on the Fumbbl client. So you will need to know what that is and what it's about. Why am I making a video on it? Because in my opinion, Blackbox Trophy is the premium, actually competitive online Blood Bowl tournament. I'm going to use the question mark on a tournament. You'll see why in a minute. In the world. It has a few problems. I will talk about those as I go. But as far as the format goes and the difficulty of winning goes, it is, in my opinion, the best format available online. It absolutely craps on every format that Blood Bowl 3 has tried to use. And it's the best thing on Fumbbl as well, which people from Fumbbl might disagree with, but they're also wrong. So with that said, what the hell is Blackbox Trophy? So on Fumbbl, the blind spin ladder type place is called box. That's where you just spin a game and you just get a TV match made game against someone else who's spinning. So if you've played Blood Bowl 2 or 3, you know how that works. You don't know who else is in the spin. You don't know what they're playing, what their teams are. It's a blind spin environment. Within that environment, as in you have to play all your games within that environment, there is a sub-competition called Blackbox Trophy. In fact, I would guess, and it is a guess, but I'm wondering if anyone in chat can tell me that it's true. Most of the games played in box do involve a Blackbox Trophy team. It certainly seems that way from spectating, but it could be bias on my opinion, but certainly a lot of them do, if not most. So what is the competition? So the competition thank you, Krista. There we go. I was correct. So the competition, the new one, will start in 1st of April, but it runs for, I'm assuming this one will also run for 4 months, Krista. Does that mean in future, now that everything's just offset, it doesn't start January 1st anymore, etc.? Or will one of them run 5 months to just get us back on track? But normally they run 4 months, and there's a reason for that. Yeah, but will one of the future ones switch that up to get us back to starting on January 1st? Okay, fair enough. There we go. So they're 4 months long. And the rules of the competition are you make a squad of 4 teams. The 4 teams have to be different races. And I will show you the specific rules for the points you can use to make that squad. And then with each of those teams, you play 15 games. And that's it. And then you get points for what you win. 2 days, Dembeek. That's the basics of it. I'll go over the details in a second. But before I do that, why do I think that's great? Firstly, the rules you will see force diversity. People just can't be trusted to be diverse. People will just play the meta teams over and over again. So you can't do that with Blackbox Trophy. I'll show you the rules on why. So diversity of race is not just guaranteed for the people in Blackbox Trophy, but because most of the games spinning in box are in fact Blackbox Trophy related games, your opponents will also have that greater level of diversity. Unlike, for example, a Blood Bowl 2 or a Blood Bowl 3 ladder, where like 50% of your games are against orcs and dwarves. Like, that doesn't happen in box because of Blackbox Trophy. It probably would happen in box if Blackbox Trophy didn't exist. It would probably just go the same way that all spin ladders go, where everyone plays the meta teams, and you'd end up constantly playing against Old World Alliance and Nurgle and Orcs in third season, but because Blackbox Trophy is the most populous part of Box and it forces diversity, then Box itself is diverse, which makes it an incredibly fun. I don't know what to say. A fun environment to play Blood Bowl in. You don't know who your next game is going to be against. You don't know what they'll be playing. The coach skill is also just as diverse. You are maybe not just as likely, but you are very likely to spin into someone who's on a national team or is at a level that could be on a national team as someone who's got like a 20% win rate. That like they will be, and they could be playing anything. The 20% win rate could be playing Nurgle and be a tough game, and you know the 75% coach could be playing gnomes and is still easy. So what are the rules for this black box? Because that's going to matter, right? These are the rules for the season starting in on the 1st of April, because it starts at midnight tomorrow, which is why it says 1 day. So here we go. Number of teams per squad, and you get 10 points to make the squad. These are the tiers. For this first one, Krista has decided to use the tiers from the Games Workshop rulebook, which is totally fine to collect data for future seasons. It will make this season a bit weird because Games Workshop are atrocious at knowing which of their own teams are good or bad, and these tiers are pretty much nonsense. But it's nonsense for everyone, right? And it's also nonsense up and down. Some teams, like there's no way dwarves should be in tier 1. That's ridiculous. Even in this kind of format where you start as rookie teams. No worries, Krista. Thank you for being here. And obviously Nurgle are excellent even in this format where you start as rookie teams. Vampires are not better than Nurgle. Vampires should easily be in tier 3, maybe even tier 4. They're really bad now. But everyone's going to have to deal with this. So you have 10 points to buy this. And if you look, you can quickly work out the maths. That means the most you can make is 5 squads, because there are only 5 tier 3 teams and only 5 tier 4 teams. And one of them has to be in your squad. You can't make a squad without, like, there's not enough points. Like 3 threes is 9, leaves you 1. So you can't possibly not have a tier 1 or 2, tier 3 or 4 team in your squad. So this is what I mean by forces diversity. It forces squads to include these worse teams. But because everyone's squad has to include these worse teams, you are not playing your halflings constantly into orcs and lizards and amazons. You're playing into other halflings and black orcs and rookie corn. Like it's a great, fun, diverse environment for Blood Bowl. Yeah, future black box trophies, these tiers will completely change based on the win rate of the teams, how popular the teams were, all kinds of stuff that Krista uses to change the, and just opinions from the community. But these will change. So these change every season. And also sometimes the squad budget changes. We just had 9 points for a while. We've got 10 this time because of the way Games Workshop have tiered things. So you can see the score in here. 15 games per team. So 1 win gives 1 point. A tie gives half a point. A loss is 0. So you can get a maximum of 15 points for each of your 4 teams if you win all 15 games. That's only ever happened once. So don't expect that to happen all the time. You get an additional 1 point if you happen to not use any of your budget. That's this 10 points here. So if you're the kind of crazy person that just likes to play stunties and you take 4 stunty teams, you will only have used 4 points. So you start the competition with 6 points before you play the game. By the way, that never works out for anyone. Having a team with the highest points for that roster awards 1 additional point. So if you win all 15 games and you have 15 points, no one else can beat that. You get an additional point for having the race record for Chorfs or Old World Alliance. 1 point for every race. If it's a tie, both players get the point. There is also a bonus point for playing. So every 5 games that you play per team, you are awarded a half a point, a free tie, essentially. So if you go 15-0-0, you will have 15 points for the win. You will have 1 point for having the race record. That's 16. And then you will have 1.5 points for playing all 15 games. So the maximum you can get for any team is 17.5. Which means the maximum you can get total is 70 points. Most records are not even 60 points. 60 points is rare. So let's take a look at the rest of the way that this works. Oh, sorry, there is one other I almost forgot it. One absolutely incredibly important rule. Even, like I've said, you can only have each roster once. You cannot restart. There are no restarts. It's incredibly important that you know that. Which does change some of the starts that you do. You want a safe start, right? You don't want to be a greedy start usually, like you would sometimes do in like Blood Bowl 3's ladder, because you can just kill if you do a greedy start and it doesn't work, like no reroll woodies, and then like your War Dancer dies on a rush, you can just restart. You can't do that in Black Box Trophy. You have to play the games out with the squad that you started with. So you can either run risk, but knowing that that's like more risk that your team dies and that the whole squad therefore is ruined by one of the 4 being wrecked immediately. So you have to play a little safer, in my opinion. And you have to play games safe. You can't just push for wins all the time if it risks your best player, because you have to play the rest of the games with this team. There are no restarts. You can't delete the squad and then get the teams back, the races back. If you put a squad together, those 4 races are used for you for the entire 4 months. That's it. No more Black Box Trophy for those 4. So you either play those out or you don't. So 60 games over 4 months is 1 game every 2 days. That's why essentially it's 4 months long, to give people with a family, to give people with a busy job less time. You have enough time to finish a squad. And if a squad does go wrong pretty early, you just move on to the next squad, right? You can make 5 squads here. So what better players looking to do well tend to do is have a primary squad, a major squad, and then 4 lesser squads. So this is how you control your Black Box Trophy. So the recent matches will show you how many you've played. Obviously, season 17 hasn't started yet. These are season 16. You'll notice people stick it in their title because, like I said in the Fumbbl video, your team names have to be unique. So this is a very good way of making them unique. You can just put BBT 16 at the start of your teams, or 17 starting on Wednesday. No, Pogla, that's not, you can't do squads with less teams. You still have to make the squad, but you don't have to play all of the teams. But I'll talk about that when I talk about Steel Gauntlet at the end. You can't just make a team with lizards in it. No, you have to fill out the team. So this would be where your squads are. If I go to season 16, these are my 2. You can name your squads. I didn't bother. These are my squads. In season 16, look, I am currently top Chorfs with 12-3-0 and top Dwarves with 12-1-2. So that's the kind of scores you're looking at to get top of a race. This is where you manage your squads, and you can change the name if you want. You just click on it and name the squad. It's easy enough. So this is the rankings, the leaderboard. This is for currently season 16. You can see here, this are the games played. Season 16 was short. It only had 45 games and 3 teams per squad, because 3rd season rules were planned on coming in earlier than 4 months away. So you wanted to get them in as soon as possible. So the squads were made smaller to still have 2 games per day, essentially, or whatever. So this is season 16. I think I started in 11. No, 12. There we go. So season 12, this was a season a 61, and look, I won with 58 points. I didn't even make it to 60. I squeaked a win over Malmö, one of the other top players on Fumbbl, who does play Blackbox Trophy a lot, as does FX, as does Juiced, Candlejack. Like, some of these players are really good. The quality of the thing, and because the games played as 60 games, and the diversity, it's not just 60 games with a a tier 1 team. It's 15 games usually with a tier 1 team, and then at some point you have to play, as you see here, 15 games with stunties. I did halflings, Malmö did ogres, as did FX. Like, you have to play with the lesser teams, so it really does separate the men from the boys skill wise, because you can't just coast with an easy team. You have to be out there spinning goblins, spinning halflings, spinning gnomes, spinning zero skill corn, because it is progression. So I should have said that at such a night, because it's like ladder. It is progression, and you start with a rookie roster, so you do build your team over the 15 games. So these teams start as rookie. So between that, the fact that it's 60 games, not like 6 games, like a tournament or whatever, it's 60 games, to end up in the top 10 even is an achievement. This page then shows the individual team scores. So this is all teams, the best records just of all the teams put together. And then you can check the qualifying teams, and you can check individually. Like, if you're playing Amazons and you're down here and having played 5 games, you can see what you need to do to become top Amazons. So you can tell whether or not you can ever become top Amazons. And these are the statistics, if you want to have a nose. People like stats, right? So at the end of the Blackbox Trophy, the winner of the Blackbox Trophy is considered to be a major tournament winner. This is a major tournament in and of itself, unlike things like ladder on Blood Bowl 3. The winner of Blackbox Trophy is considered to be a major tournament winner, which is good, because it is, to me, the most difficult thing to win on Fumbbl. All of the Fumbbl major tournaments and stuff like that, they're just a few games. It's not 60 games. It's a few games with, like, where the team carries a lot of coaches. It's far more random. This cuts down on the RNG. It makes a big difference. There is almost no way, like, where if I played properly for the season, wouldn't end up in the top 10. Whereas in a tournament, I could be out in round 1, even if I played well. Like, the RNG is much, much higher in tournaments than in something like this. Blood Bowl plays a lot better over a long format. But there is something that comes after Blackbox Trophy. So on top of this Blackbox Trophy, you also have something called the Steel Gauntlet, which is very similar to the Blood Bowl 2 Cup. Essentially, the top of each race, and then some wild cards, take their team into a knockout tournament, similar to the Blood Bowl 2 Cup. And that is also a Fumbbl major, and in my opinion, the best one of those. So you can in fact, and as you'll see, some players, you guess Rick Reckless does it a lot, will drop in halfway through the season because they don't have enough time to play 60 games, but they'll drop in. They look to see what, like, team leads are easily assailable. Like, you might see that, for example, like, the top Chaos team here is only 8-6-1 with 12.5 points, and be like, oh, okay, I can play Chaos. So they'll make a squad with Chaos in. They won't play the other teams, and they'll just play 15 games of Chaos and try to beat 12.5 points so they can take their Chaos team into the Steel Gauntlet and be in a major tournament. So you don't have to play all 60 games. You don't have to play Blackbox Trophy out. You can still do this. This is their version of Sprint, essentially. You can just play that. But you do have to make the squads. Just to correct Pogler again, you have to, and you can only make 5 squads, remember. So don't think that once you've made the 5 squads, you can just use one of the other. Hang on, let me change this back to season 17. So if you make 5 squads and you've got like wood elves left, don't think you can play wood elves. You can't. There's no way to make a squad with wood elves in anymore. So make sure that you plan out your squads in advance and they have all the teams you want to play in. It doesn't mean you have to play the whole squad, right? If you don't want to play gnomes and corn, just put gnomes and corn in a team with two things that you want to play, but didn't make it into your other squads, like your primary squad. It's like, oh, I'll try out Tomb Kings and I'll try out new High Elves. Put them in with corn and gnomes and just play the High Elves and Tomb Kings. Try and go for top High Elves or top Tomb Kings. And then maybe if you do it early enough and they both have great runs, you can try and play corn or gnomes. Gives you a reason to try them out, right? See if you can get into that top 10 on the Blackbox trophy list. So for me, as I've said, this is the best competition in the world. If you win this, I guess I shouldn't end the video without pointing out the things that are wrong. There are obviously some things that are wrong. One of them is just player pool. There will be a healthy player pool for third season Blackbox trophy, but there will still not be a healthy player pool at 4 o'clock in the morning, UK, GMT, UTC, whatever. There will be a small amount of Americans and a couple of people with insomnia, which might be me. That will be a problem. Finding a game in the middle of the night, if you're American, is still an issue. There's nothing that Fumbbl can do about it. Less Americans play Blood Bowl in general, and therefore less Americans use Fumbbl. And that is very affected when the player pool is much smaller than, for example, Blood Bowl 3. Because of that, that means Americans, the players that can string 2 dice blocks together, kind of have an advantage. The same way that if you look on the NAF rankings for tabletop, you will see Americans being higher than they probably should be, because that's just the way it is. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. They play other Americans. And the same thing happens here. Normally doesn't affect. It did actually affect this one, because this last one, season 16, I'll tell the story even though it's irrelevant to anything going forward. In season 16, Fumbbl trialed the third season rules in an open league. I played a game in it at the end of my Fumbbl video, and loads of players left Blackbox Trophy to just go and do that, which reduced the player pool in Blackbox Trophy down to a minimum, and therefore it turned into an RNG fest of who could spin into the worst players left behind. It was pretty bad. There is also heavy TV managing. Fumbbl has strict TV matchmaking in box. So some of the teams, like Norse, for example, will heavily TV manage. You'll see them running around with like 1 Valk and like no Yetis and no Berserkers to stay low TV so they can still spin into fresh teams. Like, because fresh teams can only spin into up to 1,100 teams, and Norse staying down under 1,100 will give them a chance of spinning into fresh teams, even though they've got some skills to try and get an advantage. Other teams will TV manage. I've seen Renegades only take 2 big guys to TV manage, that kind of thing. That is built into the game, though. So that's not really, like, again, that's not anything Fumbbl can do about. That's just built into Blood Bowl. But be prepared for that. You will sometimes spin into, like, you know, a 5-game Norse team with 6 skills, and they're still under 1,100, and you've got, like, fresh pro elves. That's just, you know, that's just Blood Bowl. There's nothing you can do about that. And if you like playing stunties, there is a stunty issue with Blackbox Trophy and box in general. The teams that are under 1k spin at 1k to enable them to get games. However, if 2 teams under 1k are in the same spin, like 2 stunty teams, halflings and goblins, the game seems to prioritize them matching with each other, even if there are 1k teams also in the spin. So you will get more stunty mirrors than you probably want as a stunty team, because most stunty coaches are aware they want to get rookie real teams. They want to get rookie pro elves. They want to get rookie rats. They don't want to get another stunty team, because it means that goblins could end up with no bribes and halflings could end up with no chef, and it's a kind of miserable experience just playing 2 crippled teams against each other. It also means that some stunty teams are therefore very, very strong. Snotlings and Augurs are stronger than they should be, because if they get stunty mirrors, they're the two teams that smash the other stunty teams in the face. But this again, that's a minor nitpick. Overall, the experience of Blackbox Trophy has been fantastic. A fresher breath air when coming from something like, well, I mean, I came from Blood Bowl 2 ladder originally, but Blood Bowl 3, the competitive environment has been non-existent. The ladder is terrible. Arena's fine, but regularly ruined by bad tiers, and also not, even though like it should encourage diversity. Arena, it doesn't, does it? Because people don't want to play the rubbish teams. So it's still pretty bad to spin in Arena. You still will get a lot of bad matchups, but here you will absolutely get Pro Elves, followed by Vampires, followed by Chaos, followed by Amazons, followed by Nurgle, followed by Underworld, followed by Goblins. Like, you will just play everything. It's so good. At the start of the season, there will probably be a lot of Orcs, Undead, Nurgle, Necro, but they can only play 15 games with them, you know? So those will go away. And even at the start of the season, it's more diverse than Blood Bowl 3 has ever been. So, yeah, if you really want to up the diversity, don't start playing on Wednesday. Wait a couple of weeks. Because you'll be playing rookie teams, and all the people who started immediately with their Orcs and Undead will have, gained TV, and you can't spin into them anymore. The all of the box teams are also protected against any redraft teams in the box spin. There's a protection in place for any team that's played under 15 games, any team that's in its first redraft, essentially, or hasn't redrafted yet. They can't spin into any team that has redrafted. So there are players, with 200 game teams spinning in box, just trying to get box games, trying to get random spin games. You can't spin into those. You can't spin into the Norse with a legend, Valken, all rookies, because you're protected from them. So that's a nice little bonus of the way that the matchmaking works on Fumbbl. Yeah, my primary squad is probably going to be Old World Alliance, Orcs, Nurgle, and Snotlings. And then my secondary squad is probably going to be High Elves, Undead, Black Orcs, and Halflings. And then everything after that will probably just be to play the top teams. I don't really want to play Goblins, Gnomes, or Ogres. So I'll just be so I can actually play Amazons and Necro and I want to play Tomb Kings, so they'll be in one of the squads. I want to try out the new Blitzerless humans with the good catchers, so they'll be in two of the other three squads I can make. So I will pick the 5 teams I want to play from tier 1 and tier 2, and then just assign the bottom ones. Well, you say that, Raka, but it doesn't work out that way. Yet a lot of the top players will put Snotlings in their team because they're the obvious pick from the bottom tier. But as I said, they can only play 15 games with them. So if you wait a few weeks, the Snotling players will have played some games. Yeah, Dembeek, like I won't care what I pick from the bottom. Maybe our third squad will work out, and I'll pick like Chaos and Ogres or something. They're probably the two best. But I have no interest in playing Gnomes and Goblins at all. I have no interest in playing Khorne at all. So 3 squads max for me this season. But 3 squads is 180 games if I play the whole thing. 180 games, even over 4 months, is a lot of games. That's like 10 games a week. That's not a small amount of games to play on Fumbbl, considering I'll also be playing elsewhere and recording videos and casting and stuff. So I don't even think I'll finish the 3 squads. And, that's me. I play a lot of games. Anyway, that's my intro to Blackbox Trophy. hopefully this has encouraged some of you to try this out. I think it's the perfect thing to try. Obviously, if you're just starting on Fumbbl, don't pile into Blackbox Trophy, because as I said, there's no restarts. Get your feet wet first. Like, get used to the UI and stuff like that. Wait to join the Blackbox Trophy later. But definitely give it a try if you're interested in competitive Blood Bowl. In my community, in my Discord, I'm not going to announce it here because it's specifically for my community. I'm also going to be running a competition for the upcoming Blackbox Trophy 17. I did think about giving it a miss because of these silly tiers, but everyone's going to be subjected to these. And, you know, I'm calling them silly, but it's not Fumbble's fault. These are literally the Games Workshop tiers. So I've decided, in fact, to run a competition. You can only know what I'm talking about if you're in my Discord and in my community, because I'll be launching it there. I won't be launching it online or through YouTube or anything. So, and it you know, it's just going to be prizes for people who do well in the Blackbox Trophy. So if you just want to, if you're just a beginner and you just want to try it out for fun because it sounds interesting to you instead of constant fights against orcs on Blood Bowl 3, then it doesn't really affect you anyway. That being said, if I missed anything out, if you have any follow-up questions to anything about Blackbox Trophy, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I do read all my comments, and as usual, of course, press all the buttons, yada yada yada. I streamed this on Twitch, as it will say underneath, so you can come and join us on Twitch and ask me questions there if you want. Don't be afraid to just randomly ask a question or say hello or talk. Streamers love that shit. Nobody's gonna be like, how dare you interrupt my game of Blood Bowl with your questions, sir? I challenge you to a duel. We love that. We want to fill dead air, right? So I will see you in the next video. I don't actually know what that's going to be yet. This Penguin Academy series will carry on with more Blood Bowl, general Blood Bowl related stuff. It's not all going to be like, you know, intro to Blood Bowl 3 and intro to Arena and all of that stuff. It's actually made for the race guides that I'll be doing, the strategy guides I'll be doing, etc. It's just, I started off with this because of the timing. So I will see you all in whatever the next Penguin Academy video is, or more than likely, you're probably just going to watch a cast of a game, right? I probably will see you there instead. Bye-bye.